on something in science, and they're going to be presenting to us today from their classroom.
Process is ask, imagine, plan, create, and move. While cleaning up an oil spill, you have two things you must consider: containing and removing the oil. To determine the success of our design, we had certain constraints and criteria we had to follow. The constraints, the only things we could use, were milk, cotton balls, nylon, yarn, pipettes, spoon, rubber bands, and paper filters.
The criteria, how do we know if we did a good job, was our budget had to be less than $20 million, little to no amount of oil left on the surface of the water, and a really important, no oil on the shoreline of the riverbed.
We will be introduced first design and what we wanted to do to improve them. Showing you our third design and telling you where we would have gone with another design. Because we were doing this live from our classroom, we had Mr. Erkman FaceTime us on an iPad to feel comfortable asking us any questions as we created a demonstration for you. Live from Mrs. Erkman's class, Science!
So Team 1, why don't you introduce yourselves first?
I'm Brody. I'm Hannah.
Okay, who had the first design?
I did.
Ellie, why don't you tell us about it?
We first asked ourselves what materials and tools will we use to contain and remove oil. The constraints we imagined using were the felt pipette and the rubber band. The planned cost of the constraints were $16 million. We created a design that had a total ecosystem impact score for the design, which was 14 points. Pretty good. Our group thought that the pipette and felt worked great. However, we didn't think the rubber band did a good job at all.
Okay, who had the design number 3?
So we imagined using the nylon pipette, cotton balls, and yarn. Our plan was to make it design $16 million. First, Hey, wait! You skipped me! We had a design too, but it also wasn't great. The total ecosystem impact score for the design was 15 points, 1 point higher than design 1. For design 2, the yarn did a good job because it contained the oil. However, the sponge and pipette did not work as well as we thought, so instead of removing oil like we planned, it removed a lot more of the water.
great. So now, Hannah, why don't you finish up with design 3?
As I was saying, Grade3 designed $16 million. First, we used nylon to contain the oil.
Who had the second step?
I did, and the second step was I tried to remove the oil with the rubber band. With the pipette, I mean.
Great. Who had this third step?
I did, and I am removing the oil with the cotton balls.
Wonderful. And the final step?
We thought it was okay to contain the last of the oil, so I did that with the yarn.
Very good. Hannah, how did your third design end up? What were some of your scores?
So our total ecosystem income score was a 15, and the same as design 2. We were unhappy and we wanted to improve our shore score and having 5 points every time. Wait, that's good, right? No, it's bad. We were most happy with having fun, working together, and learning new things. Based on total ecosystem impact score, about half the animals that live on the river become sick from the oil and die.
Wow, that's wonderful, Team 1. How about if I move over to Team 2? Team 2. Oh, introduce yourselves first.
I'm Caroline. I'm Jake. I'm Jan.
Who had design 1?
I did.
Can you tell us about it?
The question we asked was how to make tools survive. The constraints our team imagined using for yarn, pipette, rubber band, and sponge. The planned cost of the constraints were $9 million. The total ecosystem impact score for the design was 40 points. This was terrible. We thought that the yarn worked best because it kept most of the oil in one spot. We thought the pipette was really bad because it spread part of the oil and made some of it get on the shore. For design number 2, we wanted to improve the ecosystem impact score.
Okay, let's go on to design 3. Yes, Sai.
Can I quickly say what we did for design?
Oh, of course. They almost forgot you.
Well, the new constraints that we imagined were nylon, yarn, and felt on sponge. And our total ecosystem impact score for the design 2 went down to 25 points, which is much better. We were very happy with the change in the ecosystem impact score going down. We felt everything worked really well except the spoon. When we used the spoon, oil dropped down the shore, which caused our score to stay the same but short. We want to improve the shore score for the third design.
Okay, Lucia, you can now tell us about design 3.
We want to improve our shore score so the constraint that we imagined for design 3 were yarn, felt, combo, and nylon. And our plan cost for the constraint was 12 million. This is how we did the plan. I used the yarn to keep the oil to I used the cotton balls to remove some of the oil. And then I used the felt to try to push down on it to get under the oil, to get under the waters, to get if there's any oil on the bottom of the shore that maybe the cotton balls could not get.
That's a wonderful idea. Let me see how you ended up, Team 2.
Then I used the nylon to try to do.
Oh, I forgot you, Jake. I'm sorry.
And Sai, can you take out your skimmer? Now I'm using the yarn as a skimmer to bring it away from the shore.
That is a wonderful idea. Using it as a skimmer. I don't know if anybody else thought of that idea. Very good. Lucia, how about if you finish up design 3?
We were so excited because I told you it wouldn't have to go with design, so we went down to 24 points, which is the best score we had. We were most happy with the final design because we spent a little more money, but the score went down. The ecosystem impact score always went down in our design. We were most disappointed with the shore score. We kept getting 5 points. If we were to do another design, we would still want to work on our ecosystem impact score and hopefully not get 5 points for offshore oil. Based on the ecosystem impact score of 20, some of the remaining oil eventually seeps into the land and kills some of the green plants that live near the river.
Wow, Team 2, you did an awesome job. Let me move over to Team 3. Team 3, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Patrick.
Hello, Milana. Hello, I'm Danny. Hello, I'm Faith.
Great. Team 3, who had the first design?
I did.
Oh, Patrick.
So first we asked ourselves what materials will and won't work to contain and remove the oil. The constraints we imagined for design 1 were a pipette, a string of yarn, a sponge, and a strip of nylon. The planned cost of design 1 was $8 million. The design that we created got us a total ecosystem impact score of 19 points, which isn't terrible. We thought that the yarn worked well because it contained and removed the oil. We thought the pipette didn't work as well because it only removed water. For design 2, we want to improve our source code.
Great. Well, let's move on to design 3.
Excuse me, can I tell you about design 2?
Gosh, I keep forgetting design 2. Go ahead.
Well, the constraints we imagined using were the yarn nylon felt on sponge. We had a planned cost of the constraints.
What has happened?
However, after the cleanup we had, the total ecosystem impact score for the design was 20 points, one higher than our first try. Our group thought that the nylon and felt were the best because they soaked up a lot of oil. But we didn't like the yarn and sponge because they just soaked up the water. For design 3, we want to improve ecosystem impact scores.
Okay, now we can move on to design 3.
Well, for the third design, the questions that we asked for was, what constraints were we used to improve ecosystem impact score? The constraints we imagined using were the cotton ball, felt, nylon, and yarn. The plan we had for a budget was $13 million. The steps in our plan were, first, I used yarn to contain the oil.
Well, we can see.
Then I used the cotton ball to remove some of the oil.
Then I used
Then Milana, what did you use?
Well, I use the felt to remove the oil.
Okay. Danny, what did you do?
I use the nylon to remove the oil.
Wow, that's a great job. Let me see how this final design ended up.
Well, in the end, our ecosystem impact score was designed with 6. This is a very good score. Our group thought that the nylon was best in the last design because it took a lot of the oil. Our group was disappointed in the use of the cotton ball because it only sucked up water, not so much the oil. We did such a good job on the last design. We weren't sure what we would want to improve. Based on our final impact score, a few of the adults in became sick because of the oil in the water.
Oh my goodness, that was wonderful. Let me move on to Team 4. Team 4, how did you do? Why don't you first introduce yourselves? And who had design 1? Lauren, tell us about it.
The first question we asked was, how are we going to design a process? The constraints we imagined using were the sponge, spoon, and paper. The pipette, sponge, and spoon, and paper filter. And our planned cost of the constraints was $11 million. After our plan was completed, the total ecosystem impact score for the design was 31 points, not very good. We thought the sponge worked the best, but the pipette didn't. The pipette was hard to use when just trying to get the oil out of the water. We want to improve the process and decrease the ecosystem impact score.
Awesome job with number 1. Let's go to number 2 now, design 2.
The question we asked was, how are we going to change the process and what materials should we use to improve the ecosystem impact score? The constraints we imagined using were the paper filter, sponge, spoon, and felt, and we planned costing the constraints to $13 million. Our total ecosystem impact score for the design was 26 points, which is getting better. We were happy that our score went down, but we still want to lower our ecosystem impact score and lower our budget.
Very good. And what did you do for your final design?
Well, the question we asked for the third design was, how do we lower the budget but also lower the ecosystem impact score? The constraints we imagine using for this design were nylon yarn, felt spoon, and the final budget worked out to $11 million like our first design. This is the steps we did for the design. First, I used the nylon to contain the oil.
It was just step 2?
Second, I used the yarn and felt to remove the oil.
Okay. And the third step? The spoon? Oh, so you're using the spoon for a container. Interesting. Was there a fourth step?
Yes.
And what was the fourth step?
I finished the process of the paper filter.
Oh, and you pour the paper filter. Good thinking. Wow, what a great idea. Oh my goodness. So, Nidhi, how did the third design end up? What was your final scores?
Finally, the total ecosystem impact score for the design was 24 points, our best score. But I know we can improve that. Our group was very happy that each time our score went down. We feel that if we could keep designing more, we would lower the budget but also use the materials differently so that we wouldn't get any oil on the shore. Based on our final ecosystem impact score, about half of all the animals and plants that live in the river become sick and die.
Wow, I love the way you did the paper filters. Let me move on to the next team. And this is team 5, I believe. Okay, team 5. Who had design 1?
For design 1, the question we asked was, how are we going to design a good coastal cleanup? The constraints we imagined used felt. The plan cost of the constraints was $7 million. The total ecosystem score for the first design was 5 points, very high and not good. Our group didn't like using the felt and spoon to whirl the water around too much. We wanted to change processes of good score.
Awesome. And who had design number 2?
The question we asked for design 2 was what should we do? The constraints we imagined using for the nylon, yarn, and paper filter. And the plan cost for the space was $5 million. The total ecosystem impact score for the design was 24 points. A huge improvement. We like that we improved the process of just for the water that much. We still want to work on an ecosystem impact score.
Very good. And now you're on to your final design?
The question we asked was, how can we still lower our ecosystem score? The constraints we imagined were the spoon, yarn, and nylon. The planned cost of the constraints was $5 million. The plan we did was, first, I would remove the contain the oil with the spoon.
Okay.
Second, I would remove oil with the iron.
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Finally, I would continue with the nylon.
Okay. Was there a fourth step?
No, we didn't have one.
Okay. Wow. So how did your design end up, Luke?
So the total ecosystem impact score for the final design was 19 points, our best score. We were most happy with using the yarn and nylon, but we didn't like using the spoon because it removed a tiny, tiny dot of oil. If we designed another cleanup
remark on the process and how we handled the materials. Based on our final ecosystem impact score, a few of the adult salmon will become sick of the oil, and some small fish die because the oil gets in their gills.
Wow, that's not bad. Not too bad. Let me move on to Team 6. Team 6.
Hi, I'm Olivia.
Okay, who had the first set? Okay, Chris.
The question we asked was what materials do we use to remove and contain the oil? The constraints we imagine using were yarn, felt, nylon, and paper. The total cost of the constraints was $7 million. Ecosystem impact total for design was 9 points. The yarn was good because it got a good amount of oil. The felt worked well, but it got less oil than the yarn, but still got a good amount of oil. The paper filter was the worst. We wanted to work on our shore score for our second design.
Who had the second design?
I did.
Okay.
The question we asked was how can we not get oil on the shoreline? The constraints we imagined using were spun, rubber, nylon, rubber band, and spoon. The plan cost the constraints was $14 million. After we did our plan, the total ecosystem impact score for the design was 13 points. We all liked sponge because we could not contain the oil, but the spoon afterwards didn't remove any oil. For our final design, we didn't want to get any oil on the shore.
Well, I can't wait to hear about your third design.
So the question we asked was, how will we do a better design? The constraints we imagined using were nylon, sponge, felt, and yarn. And our plan was to do the nylon first, and I used it to contain the oil. And then I used the yarn to contain. So then I used the felt to remove the oil.
Then your last step?
And then fourth, I used a sponge to remove the oil.
Wow. Looks like you did a really good job. Okay. Good job. So Nora, how did the third design end up?
Our total ecosystems impact score was 13 points. The sponge works the best for no because it sucked up a lot of oil. We didn't like the yarn because we couldn't get it to do anything. Also, in the end, we noticed that the total score in our last two designs was the same, and we think that was because of the way we used the materials. Based on our final ecosystem impact score, there is less algae and fewer plants in the river because they have been polluted by the oil.
Great job. Now I'm going to move on to our final team. And our final team, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, Ruby.
Ruby, hold on. Okay.
I'm Matt. I'm Neil. I'm Harper.
Okay, who had the first design?
I did.
Okay, Harper.
The question we asked was what materials and tools will work well or not work well to contain and remove the oil. The constraints we imagined using were the paper filter felt, nylon, and rubber band. The plan of the cost of the constraints was $13 million. After we did our oil spill, the total ecosystem impact score for the design was 20 points. Felt and the band worked the best because the band blocked off the oil. Felt cleaned the oil very well. We want to improve on our shore score.
And who had design number 2?
Me.
Matthew.
Process and constraints. The constraint we imagined using were cotton ball felt and these pieces are big.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
The plant cost constraints to 12 million, and the total ecosystem design was 20 points. This is our first design. We liked the fact they got most of the oil out, while the rubber band pushed the oil into the rocks. We didn't like the cotton ball because it just got out the water. We still want to work on the shore for the paper filter.
Great. Let me hear about design 3.
The question we asked was, how are we not going to get the oil on the shore? The constraints we were using for the final design were felt, rubber band, nylon. The same cost of the constraints was $12 million. Here's how we did the design. Matt is rubber band, and he was blocking the oil from coming to the shore.
Great idea.
I was number 2, and I used a felt to take a big blob.
Oh, you got a big blob there.
Yes, we do. And third, I'm going to walk it back to the rocks, and I'm now going to try to get the bottom of the shore.
Oh.
Then last, I'll take the rest of the dock, and I tried to get it to the side, so it's easier for me to. And then Neil comes in with the felt again.
Oh, so you do the felt twice.
Yes, that's why we thought. Yeah, and I have to already, so I will.
All right, well, Neela, tell me how design 3 ended up.
Design 3 ended up this is a calculator run that for this design best one. For this design, we tried blocking off the oil with rubber band, but it just ran through onto the shore. Therefore, on this design, we still couldn't keep the oil away from the shore and got an extra 5 minutes. If we could do another design, we would still want to block off the oil from the shore. We think the yarn could be. Based on our found ecosystem score, some of the small fish that live in the river died because of oil that's.
Okay, well, now we're going to turn to the rest of the class.
Oh, there seems to be a problem with the connection, but we are prepared. Something always goes wrong with the live streaming. A few students created a slideshow to keep you entertained while we get back online. This slideshow will highlight various major oil spills throughout the world. The Amigo Cadres by Michael Hogan. The Amigo Cadres happened on March 16, 1978 in Brittany, France. More than 220,000 tons of heavy crude oil spilled. 300 kilometers off the coast of France was badly polluted. It happened because an oil tanker grounded and shipwrecked. It grounded because of a failure of the steering gear. It split in half 12 days after the grounding. The Amigo Cadres was the largest loss of marine life ever recorded at that time. For the cleanup process, they used less than 3,000 tons of cleaning material, and some chalk was also used as a recovery operation. It took months to clean up.
The BP oil spill by Jake Lorenzo. The BP Gulf of Mexico oil spill happened on April 20th, 2010, and ending on July 15th, 2010, a total of 87 days. The spill was 42 miles off the coast of Louisiana in the Gulf of Mexico. It was the second largest oil spill ever. The cause of the oil spill was that a BP pipe had exploded more than 5,000 feet under the ocean surface, causing 3.19 million barrels of oil to spill. The oil spill affected dolphins, sea turtles, pelicans, and many more animals in sea life. It had a huge impact on the ecosystem. The stranding of dolphins and sea turtles doubled after the oil spill from 63 to 125 in 2011. Pelicans and seabirds were covered with oil from the surface, so they could not fly and dive for food. Other birds that lived in marshes were also affected by the oil. Coral was affected because it got covered in oil. Baby coral did not live as long as it should. The oyster beds on the coast of Louisiana were taken out of the seafood market for 8 months before being let back in by the FDA. On land, 1,000 miles of shorelines were eroded from Texas all the way to Florida. It all needed to be cleaned up, and the eroded shorelines would take longer to recover. Some of the chemicals used to clean up the oil also harmed the animals and sea life in the deep sea. In this oil spill, 3.19 million barrels of oil needed to be cleaned up, and that made it very hard. The first thing they did to clean up the oil was put up booms to keep it from spreading, and then they used skimmers, which are boats that gather up the oil. They used sorbents to try and absorb the oil. They used dispersants, chemicals that break down the oil and lets it mix with water to make cleanup easier.
The XOL days by Fake XL.
The Exxon Valdez oil spill took place on March 24, 1989 in Prince William Sound, Alaska. The Valdez spilled up to 11 million gallons of crude oil. The Prince William Sound remote location, which you could only get to by helicopter, plane, boat, made cleanup difficult. Major impact on the ecosystem. The Exxon oil spill had long-lasting effects on Alaska's environment. Thousands of seabirds, seals, whales, and fish were drenched in oil. The Empty Haven Tanker Oil Spill by Olivia McGovern. The Empty Haven Tanker Oil Spill was on April 11, 1991 in Genoa, Italy. The ship was bombed in the Iran-Iraq War, and owners blamed for not doing a good job fixing the ship before it went into use again. 450,000 barrels of oil burned. 143,000 barrels spilled into the ocean before the ship sank. 5 people died in the explosion. The type of oil spill was from a tanker. It was 7 miles off the coast of Genoa. 1,056 million gallons were spilled in the ecosystem. 25 miles of the Italian coast was impacted. In April, 154 square mile slope hit the coast of France. Over 100 birds were found on the beach covered in oil.
subjects to make sure that we were ready for today. And they didn't know they were coming on stage right now. But I believe they deserve a big hand of Thank you for coming. And we're going to have a seat. And now the Lisa and the Force of Virtue are going to be presented. I'll just go. Okay. Can I have Rashida, Caroline, Brody, Harper, Jake, and Emma, and I think that's it. Do I have 6 of you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you guys can go sit down. All right, you guys have to come stand in front and join your I'm going to go with Harper, Emma, Jake, Brody, Harshita, and Caroline.
This is Harper Tusseri. Harper is nominated in the Leaf of Forest of Virtue. The virtue Harper exhibits is fortitude. While I am honoring Harper for fortitude, I could just as easily be found her exhibiting any of the other virtues. I am recognizing Harper for her optimism. Harper is one of the most positive, understanding, inspiring students in class. Harper finds the good in everything. She is willing to do anything to help a fellow student or me. I don't even have to ask. Earlier this year, we heard about a new website, Prodigy, fourth graders. After a quick demonstration from a few of the fourth graders, Harper became the teacher. She reminded me, because I of course forgot, and showed the class how to log on and what to do. I was so overwhelmed by her courage to stand in front of the class and to demonstrate to them how to log on and what to do. Harper is an all-around wonderful student. She gives of herself without expecting anything in return. Her help, flexibility, and preparing for this assembly is remarkable. It is my honor to be able to teach Harper this year. Emma is being nominated in the Forest of Virtue for prudence. Emma is being recognized for prudence because I want to highlight how honest and gracious Emma is to adults and peers alike. I can rely on Emma to tell me the truth in any instance that happens in or outside of the classroom. She is open and straightforward when reporting an incident. I always get the true account of any friend issue she may have, even if she has something to do with it, just a small part. Emma is also so grateful for everything that is given to her. She always says thank you and is grateful for any support she receives. Emma is a sweetheart, and I feel so grateful to have her in my class, and I am especially proud of what she did for the assembly. Oh, Jake, where to begin? While Jake is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for justice, he could easily be recognized for all of the virtues. While we all appreciate Jake during discussions, I especially want to recognize Jake for all of his help with this assembly. Jake had his slide presentation completed the day I signed the rolls. He has been a wonderful help to all the students who created their slide presentation. He went around each class helping the students. All I would have to say is, Jake, can you help? And he was there. He's just like the best of all teacher assistants. And no questions, no comments. He just does what he needs to do. I truly appreciate Jake's humbleness. Jake is generally always right during our class discussions. Yet, he never boasts and never puts down anybody else for making a mistake or having a different opinion. He is to be admired by his peers and for me for all his good virtue. Brody is being nominated in the Forest of Virtue for fortitude. While there are many good virtue characteristics that I could honor Brody for this year, Brody is being recognized for his courage. Brody has been so flexible and so understanding as his script has changed over the last few days. He embraced his lines and was so excited about a really funny section, if you remember, him falling asleep on the wheel. He embraced his lines. Public speaking is not easy for most students, but Brody proved that you can conquer your fears. He did a fantastic job while presenting to the audience. He turned out to be quite the ham. I also want to recognize Brody for his sense of humor and the ability to not take himself so seriously. I thoroughly enjoy having Brody in this class. He is quite the charmer. Harshita. This is Harshita's first leaf. She's new to the school. She's being nominated for fortitude. Harshita is being recognized for courage and perseverance. Harshita is new to BFCCPS and was nervous about starting a new school and leaving her friends behind. When I first met Harshita, she was so quiet, I could barely hear her. Well, now that's not the case. She is engaging and outgoing. Harshita has opened up and is often the organizer of her team. She often keeps others on task. I also want to recognize her for her strength and stamina in testing. She is a perfectionist and takes her time in all that she does. She never rushes her work and is often the last one done. I admire her ability to do what needs to be done without rushing. Harshita is a wonderful addition to our school. OMG, where to begin with Caroline? Caroline is being honored for justice, but specifically friendship and generosity. Friendship is a characteristic that Caroline takes to heart. I believe that if you asked Caroline who her friends were, she would say everyone. She just likes and cares for everyone. She will share, help, give, comfort those around her at any time. I am also recognizing Caroline for generosity. When one gives from the heart of pure good intentions, one is generous. Caroline does this all the time. She makes pictures, jewelry, and cards for everyone. While I could cite many examples of Caroline's generosity with others, I am often on the receiving end of her generosity. Like the day she came into class with a whole box of new stamps for me to use with the class. I love being able to share my day with Caroline. She is one of a kind. Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Palmer.
Good morning, everybody. Three you, can I just say how impressed I am with your engineering skills? Like, are you sure you're really third graders engineering like that? It's very impressive. Okay, so please may I have up here this morning 6 members from my class. I would like to see David, Chloe, Ava Rowan, Sam, Caitlin Fitzhenry, and Ella. If you could just line up right here. Okay, first up here we have Chloe. Now, many of you might not know Chloe yet, but this is Chloe too. Chloe is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating justice. More specifically, for the kindness, compassion, and respect she shows to all those around her. What's truly amazing is this is Chloe's first year at BFCCPS. If you had the chance to meet her, you would think she has been here forever. Chloe's outgoing personality, positive attitude, and love for life makes her a pleasure to be around. If you haven't had the chance to meet Chloe yet, just look for the girl with the bright eyes and big smile. She's a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. I think that Chloe would agree. I think that all that know Chloe would agree. We are very lucky she has joined our BFCCPS family. My next leaf is for David. David Hill is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating fortitude, more specifically for overcoming obstacles and persevering when things got tough. In the early weeks of school, David had an unfortunate accident where he had a pretty tough break to his arm. His dominant arm, of course. While I was concerned this was going to seriously impact his ability to complete classroom assignments, I was amazed at his willingness and drive to use his left, non-dominant hand to complete almost all required work. Though it may have taken him a little extra time, he kept on going with determination and success. Since the removal of his cast, David seems to be more motivated than ever to learn and make good choices in school. I am so proud of you, David, for facing your challenges with optimism, and now you seem to be a better student for it. Next, we have Caitlin Fitzhenry. Caitlin is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating fortitude, more specifically for the determination, purposefulness, and perseverance she puts forth each day. Caitlin has taken on the challenges of third grade in full force. All across the curriculum, Caitlin has been applying her best effort. Caitlin's attention and participation during class lessons are leading to very productive learning. She will make use of all the time she has and even work overtime to be sure she completes every assignment and assessment to the best of her ability. Her self-discipline and stamina are to be admired. It is so rewarding for me as a teacher to watch a student make use of strategies and utilize skills taught in class with great success. Keep on striving to be your best, Caitlin. Next, we have Ella Griffin. Ella is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating prudence, more specifically for her wisdom, sound judgment, and use of reason. Ella is an extremely hardworking, outstanding student, someone all students welcome the opportunity with whom to work. This is because Ella cares about doing the right thing and is able to lead people in the right direction while respecting their thoughts and feelings. Ella is a well-rounded young lady who exhibits good character every day through her commitment to learning, interactions with classmates, and cooperation with adults. She is honest, trustworthy, and gracious. Ella makes people smile, and that's a pretty cool thing. And this is Ava Rowan. Ava is receiving her leaf for temperance, more specifically for the self-control, patience, and discipline she exemplifies. I couldn't begin to count the number of times I have pointed out Ava's actions and efforts as a positive example in class. Ava is one who can demonstrate complete self-control no matter what is going on around her. She is almost always one of the first to complete a transition, all cleaned up, silent, and ready for whatever is next. My fellow teachers understand just how wonderful that quality is, and these behaviors are certainly not easy to consistently keep up. However, I can always count on Ava. Ava, I appreciate all you do to show me respect, as well as model appropriate behavior in our class. You are a valued member of 3P. Last, we have Sam Schoeneman. Sam has many admirable qualities, but today he is being recognized for demonstrating prudence. Sam is a very polite, respectful, level-headed young man. He truly does use good judgment and make intelligent decisions on a daily basis. On several occasions, I have observed Sam in situations where he had choices to make. In all situations, he has handled himself in a very mature, rational manner. Because Sam is thoughtful, honest, and a reliable friend, he is one everyone, peers and adults, really enjoy having around. Sam, your composure and humility are qualities that will bring you much success and happiness in the future. I am sure of it. Thank you. Next up, we have Mrs. Oakers.
Okay, if I could have my friends, Noah, Neil, Justin, Lindsay, Lorelei, and Bridget. Oh, good. Come stand by me. Okay, my friend Neil. Neil Bogard is nominated for a leaf in the Forest of Virtue. Did I say that? Sorry. The virtue that Neil exhibits is justice. I'm nervous too. I am excited to nominate Neil for the virtue of justice. Justice means treating others with respect and taking responsibility for their well-being. You have just got to love Neil. His friendship, kindness, and compassion are evident in everything he does in the classroom. I thoroughly enjoy his dry wit, and he often has a good-humored smile on his face. Neil enjoys what is happening around him in the classroom, and the classroom is a better place for having Neil in it. Noah Nicholson. Noah Nicholson is nominated for a leaf in the Forest of Virtue. The virtue that Noah exhibits is fortitude. Fortitude is being courageous and tackling obstacles. Noah has shown such fortitude this year, and I am very proud of him. My friend Noah Nicholson has shown perseverance and has grown so much in our classroom this year. I love to see Noah Nicholson. You can tell that I call him Noah Nicholson. Noah Nicholson working hard and enjoying the fruits of his labors. Noah is a loyal friend and has shown so much optimism and hope as he completes challenges both large and small in our classroom. I am lucky to be his teacher and proud of his accomplishments this year. Justin Chen is nominated for a leaf in the Forest of Virtue. The virtue that Justin exhibits is temperance. Temperance is about mastering ourselves for the sake of the happiness of those around us. The 5 related character traits do a great job of describing Justin. Justin is organized, courteous, and has lovely manners. Justin shows fabulous self-control and is patient with his classmates and obedient for his teachers. Justin also does a great job of thoughtful participation in class discussions and is a hardworking and careful group member when the students are collaborating. Justin is well respected by his peers and appreciated by his teacher. All right, Lorelei. Lorelei is nominated for a leaf in the Forest of Virtue. The virtue that Lorelei exhibits is prudence. When I look at the 4 virtues, there were many that I could choose for Lorelei. Lorelei has been a wonderful new addition to our school and our class this year. When I was forced to narrow it down, I chose prudence. Prudence is about having sound judgment and making wise choices. Lorelei makes great choices every day in school. She truly exhibits the 5 related character traits of honesty, wisdom, integrity, gratitude, and humility, and I am so proud of what she accomplishes day in and day out. Prudence is being thoughtful, and we are so lucky to have our very thoughtful Lorelei in our class this year. Lindsay Leonard is nominated for a leaf in the Forest of Virtue. The virtue that Lindsay exhibits is justice. I am proud to nominate Lindsay for her leaf in the Forest of Virtue. The virtue that Lindsay exhibits is justice. Justice means treating others with respect and taking responsibility for their well-being. The 5 related virtues of respect, friendship, kindness, compassion, and generosity describe our Lindsay to a T. Lindsay is so generous with her classmates and her teacher. It does not matter what is asked of her. She is happy to jump in and help. She does this because this is how she operates and not because she ever expects anything in return. I will jump in and say every day almost, Lindsay dumps out my leftover coffee for me. And it's I appreciate it. Her sunny disposition and quick laughter are a delight in our classroom, and we are all lucky to have her as a part of our lives. Last but not least is my friend Bridget. Bridget is nominated for a leaf in the Forest of Virtue. The virtue that Bridget exhibits is fortitude. The virtue that Bridget is nominated for is fortitude. Fortitude means having the courage to face challenges and obstacles, persevering when things get tough. 3 of the related traits are courage, optimism, and loyalty, and that is our Bridget. Bridget is such a kind and loyal friend in our class. She works very hard and always tackles each new concept and academic 4th grade challenge with courage and an I can do this attitude that is so important and admirable. Bridget is well loved by her friends and is a kind and conscientious presence in our classroom. This year has been made all the better for having Bridget be a part of it.
Hi everybody. Mrs. grades class, you did a fabulous job. Very, very impressed. I can't wait to get all of your knowledge next year. Third, fourth, and fifth graders, I know it's been a long morning. You've done a great job of being patient so far. I just want to ask that you give my friends the respect they deserve while we finish up, okay? So, it was very hard to pick because I have a whole class full of very virtuous students this year. But this time I'm going to honor Theo, Ellie, Jake, Evangelina, Jason, and Emma. So if you can come on up. All right, first up is Theo. Theo is being awarded with this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating justice. Theo is such a good-hearted young man. He consistently treats others with respect, kindness, and compassion. If he senses that someone is being treated unfairly or unkindly, Theo will always take the initiative to help his fellow students. He has the maturity to know that justice isn't about who is right, but about what is right, and that is something I truly admire about him. Theo, you are a wonderful friend, and your kindness undoubtedly makes our school and our class a better place. Next up is my buddy Jake. Jake is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating temperance. He has been working very hard to demonstrate patience and self-control in the classroom, and I have seen his confidence grow as he has had continued success. He is always also more than willing to help in any way that I need. He checks in with me daily to ask if there's anything he can do to help out, whether it is a message that I need delivered or something that I need help with around the classroom. Jake is always ready to pitch in. Jake, keep up the hard work. I am very proud of you. Evangelina. Evangelina has earned this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating fortitude. I could say a great deal about Evangelina's character, but this leaf is specifically for her perseverance and determination when faced with a challenge. When Evangelina found she was having difficulty in a certain subject, she met the challenge head on. She kept herself organized, sought the help she needed, and I have since watched her grow into a strong, confident, successful young lady. Evangelina, I truly admire your positive attitude and determination. These qualities are sure to bring you success in whatever you set your mind to. Ellie is being awarded with this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating fortitude. I truly admire Ellie's positive attitude and determination. Fourth grade is a challenging year academically, but Ellie has shown immense maturity and perseverance to overcome every challenge that she's met. Not only that, she does it with a quiet drive and a positive demeanor. It is no wonder that classmates like to work with Ellie. She is respectful, kind, but determined to get her work done. It makes me so proud to see her raising her hand and contributing to class. Ellie, keep up the hard work. It is bound to take you far. Next up is Jason. Jason is being awarded for a leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating prudence. Jason has sound judgment in the classroom and can always be counted upon to make good choices. He is a role model to others for consistently demonstrating a strong work ethic and greeting challenges with enthusiasm. And despite all of his success, Jason remains humble and gracious. He compliments others when they succeed and offers help when they don't. Jason's positive example extends beyond his academics, however. He shows a great deal of honesty and integrity in all that he does. I can always count on him to tell the truth and make wise decisions in all matters. Jason, you are truly a wonderful addition to our class, and I look forward to seeing you grow in the year ahead. All right, last but definitely not least is my friend Emma. Emma is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating justice. I can't say enough good things about my new friend Emma. She came to our class as a new student this year, but you would never know it. From the very first day, she entered our classroom with a smile and hasn't stopped since. She treats everyone with respect and kindness, She is fair and loyal to all of her friends and shows compassion when interacting with others. I can always count on Emma to have a positive attitude. Recently, Emma hurt her wrist and had to get a cast, as you can see. And when she came in that morning, the kids couldn't wait to sign it. Looking at all the signatures, it is clear that Emma's kindness has made quite an impact on us. Emma, I am so thrilled that you joined us at BFCCPS and that we are lucky enough to have you in our class. All right, Mrs. Ona, you're